India, a land of vibrant colors, rich history, and warm hospitality. As a seasoned traveler, I was captivated by its beauty and allure. From the majestic Taj Mahal to the serene backwaters of Kerala, India is a sensory feast that leaves an unforgettable mark on the soul. Yet beneath this enchanting facade lies a harsh reality for many women, particularly those who dare to explore its cities alone. India has a dark underbelly, plagued by a disturbingly high rate of violence against women. News headlines scream of horrific incidents, painting a grim picture of the dangers lurking in the shadows. As a female traveler, it's impossible to ignore the undercurrent of fear that permeates the air. While the warmth and generosity of the Indian people are undeniable, there's an undeniable sense of vulnerability that female travelers, especially solo ones, experience. The stares, the catcalls, the unwanted advances, they all contribute to an atmosphere of unease, a constant reminder that you are different, an outsider in a land where women are often seen as second-class citizens. Despite the challenges, it's crucial to remember that India is a land of immense diversity, a melting pot of cultures and traditions. Delhi, India's capital city, stands as a stark example of the challenges women face. Dubbed the rape capital of India, Delhi has gained notoriety for its appalling record of violence against women. The statistics are staggering, painting a grim picture of a city where women live in constant fear. In 2012, the brutal gang rape and murder of a young woman on a Delhi bus sent shockwaves across the globe, shining a spotlight on the issue of women's safety in India. The incident sparked nationwide protests and forced the government to confront the deeply ingrained misogyny and systemic failures that perpetuate violence against women. Despite increased media attention and some legal reforms, the situation remains dire. Women continue to face harassment, assault, and abuse on a daily basis. From crowded markets to public transportation, the threat of violence is a constant companion, casting a long shadow over their lives. The fear is palpable, altering the way women move through the city. They avoid going out alone at night, dress conservatively to avoid unwanted attention, and are constantly on guard, their senses heightened to potential dangers. The emotional and psychological impact of sexual assault and harassment on women is immeasurable. The trauma runs deep, leaving invisible scars that can take years, even a lifetime, to heal. Victims often suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and a range of other mental health issues. The shame and stigma associated with sexual violence in India often prevent women from reporting these crimes. They fear being ostracized by their families and communities, blamed for their own victimization, or worse, subjected to further violence. The lack of adequate support systems for victims compounds the problem. Access to mental health services is limited, particularly in rural areas, and legal recourse can be a long and arduous process, often fraught with corruption and insensitivity. The emotional toll of living in a constant state of fear and hypervigilance is exhausting. The roots of violence against women in India are complex and multifaceted, stemming from a deeply patriarchal society where gender inequality is pervasive. Traditional gender roles, often reinforced by religious beliefs, relegate women to a subordinate position, denying them equal rights and opportunities. A culture of silence and victim blaming further exacerbates the problem. Women are often taught to endure abuse in silence, to protect the family's honor, and to avoid bringing shame upon themselves. This silence only serves to perpetuate the cycle of violence, allowing perpetrators to act with impunity. The objectification of women in media and popular culture also contributes to a climate of disrespect and misogyny. From Bollywood movies to advertising, women are often portrayed as objects of male desire, their worth measured by their beauty and sexuality. Addressing this deeply ingrained societal problem requires a multi-pronged approach, encompassing education, awareness campaigns, and legal reforms aimed at changing attitudes and challenging discriminatory cultural norms. Section 5. Demanding justice and protection. The fight for women's safety in India is a fight for equality, for respect, and for the basic human right to live a life free from violence and fear. It requires a collective effort from the government, civil society, and individuals to challenge the status quo and create a safer and more just society for women. Strengthening law enforcement and ensuring swift and effective justice for perpetrators of violence against women is crucial. This includes sensitizing police officers to the needs of victims and establishing fast-track courts to expedite cases of sexual assault and harassment. Investing in education and awareness campaigns that promote gender equality and challenge discriminatory attitudes is equally important. This includes educating boys and men about consent, respect for women, and the importance of challenging harmful gender stereotypes. Empowering women economically, politically, and socially is also essential for creating lasting change. This includes providing access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities, as well as promoting women's leadership and participation in decision-making processes. Section 6. Navigating the maze tips for solo female travelers. While the risks are real, it's important to remember that millions of women travel safely in India every year. By taking certain precautions and being aware of your surroundings, you can minimize the risks and have a positive and empowering travel experience. Dress conservatively, covering your shoulders and legs, especially when visiting religious sites or rural areas. This shows respect for local customs and helps you blend in, reducing unwanted attention. Avoid traveling alone at night, especially in unfamiliar areas. If you must go out, stick to well-lit and populated areas and consider using a reputable taxi service. Be cautious when interacting with strangers, especially men. Trust your instincts, and if someone makes you feel uncomfortable, remove yourself from the situation immediately. Learn a few basic phrases in Hindi or the local language. This can be helpful in emergencies or when you need to ask for directions. Share your itinerary with family or friends back home and stay in regular contact with them. Section 7. Knowledge is power. Resources for women in need. In the unfortunate event that you experience harassment or assault, it's important to know that you are not alone. There are resources available to help you, including the National Commission for Women, a statutory body that works for the protection and promotion of women's rights in India. The Police Helpline for Women, dial 1091, a dedicated helpline for women in distress, providing immediate assistance and support. Women's NGOs and support groups. Several organizations across India provide legal aid, counseling, and shelter to women victims of violence. Remember, reporting an incident can help prevent future occurrences and ensure that perpetrators are held accountable for their actions. Do not suffer in silence. Section 8. Breaking down barriers, a collective responsibility. The issue of women's safety in India is not just a women's issue. It's a societal issue that requires a collective effort from all members of society, men and women alike. Men have a crucial role to play in challenging patriarchal attitudes and behaviors that perpetuate violence against women. This includes calling out misogynistic jokes, challenging gender stereotypes, and supporting women's rights. Parents, educators, and community leaders must work together to instill values of respect, equality, and consent in young people from an early age. By working together, we can create a safer, more just, and equitable society for all. Section 9. Finding hope, the spirit of resilience. Despite the challenges, it's important to remember that there's hope. Across India, women are raising their voices, challenging the status quo, and demanding change. From grassroots activists to legal experts to everyday citizens, women are uniting to create a safer and more equitable future for themselves and for generations to come. Their courage, resilience, and determination are an inspiration to us all. By amplifying their voices, supporting their efforts, and continuing to raise awareness about this critical issue, we can contribute to creating a world where all women can travel, live, and thrive without fear.